James, and I'd like to welcome you here tonight to the Glendora Library Battle of the Books. I cannot believe that we've been doing this for 7 years. I know you all love and appreciate everything our library has to offer. After all, we do have the best little library in Glendora, California, the USA, anywhere. We're very proud of this library. My last introduction really needs no introduction. She is the backbone of battle. She creates it and she implements it, and she's the reason that this evening is so much fun. Cindy.
Welcome to this evening, and thank you all for coming out. This is one of my favorite events of the year. This evening we have 19 teams set and ready to compete, ranging from 6th through 12th grade, all but one 3-member teams. This evening's trivia competition is based on 3 books. Each team was given a set of the battle books upon registration to use while preparing for the event. This evening's books are Liar, Liar by Gary Paulsen, which features a middle schooler who's convinced that lying makes everyone's lives better. He simply tells them what they want to hear, until one day, we'll have to see how that works out. Silverfin by Charlie Higson is where we meet a 13-year-old James Bond while a student in boarding school. And we follow him on his first adventure where he must find out what happened to a young man who disappeared in Scotland. Our third book, The Thief by Megan Whalen Turner. Our thief, named for the god of thieves, claims he can steal anything. But can he steal something from the gods themselves? We'll find out. Now, the rules for this evening: each team will be asked 1 question per turn. If the team answers the question correctly, they will remain in the contest, and you will hear this sound. If the team provides an incorrect answer, the team is penalized with 1 missed question, and you will hear this sound. If a team misses 2 questions, the team will be eliminated from the competition, and you will hear this sound. Each team will have 15 seconds to answer the questions. After 10 seconds, the team will be prompted for their answer. If the team has not given a correct answer within 15 seconds, they will be charged with a missed question. The questions and their answers have been taken directly from the books. Please remember to phrase your answers as close to the books as possible. Team members should consult with each other before they give an answer. The first answer given will be considered the final answer. There will be no opportunity to change, clarify, or add to the answer. And finally, the judges' rulings are final. Just so everyone knows what's at stake with the battle tonight, besides having just a ton of fun, all of our participants will receive a small prize following the completion of the battle. Our second place team will each receive medals and certificates, as well as a gift certificate to go spend later. Our first place team will also get certificates, medals, and each member of that team will receive a $50 gift certificate. Plus, the first place team will be given an opportunity to ride in the Glendora Christmas Parade. So, once we have announced the winners, we would like for everyone to please stay in your seats while we make those presentations. Now, are we ready? Yes? Then let the battle begin. Our first team, all the good names were taken, is made up of Caleb Brooks, an 8th grader from Goddard, and Nathan Brooks, a 10th grader from Glendora High School. Guys. Your question is, in which book was there a character who bragged about his skills in every wine shop in town?
The Thief.
Our next team, the Awesome Bookworms, is made up of Kayla Mancia, a 6th grader from Washington, Amita Fadness, a 6th grader from Washington, and Isha Tripathi, a 7th grader from Royal Oak Middle School. And your question is? Which book included a long journey through a mountain pass?
The Thief.
Our next team, Bask in Our Knowledge, is made up of Becca Castillo, Angie Mendez, and Stacy Lau, all 11th graders from Charter Oak High School. Ladies, your question is? Which book featured a journey on a train?
Silverfin.
The Bibliophiles are up next, made up of Elise Whaley, a 7th grader from Southlands Christian, Joshua Brown, an 8th grader from Southlands Christian, and Kylie Esposito? No? Kylie, a 7th grader from Southlands Christian. Your question is, in which book does the main character co-own a car with his brother and sister?
Liar, liar.
Our next team, the Book Blasters, is made up of Chiana Chuk, Megan Dewan, and Denise Lau, all 7th graders from Royal Oak Middle School. Which book took place in England and Scotland?
Silverfin.
Our next team up, the Bulldog Bookworms, is made up of Nishida Despude, Yandel Salas, and Maya Yasunaga, all 6th graders from Washington. In which book did one of the characters deceive his teachers?
Liar, liar.
The Cover to Cover Girls is made up of Phoebe Garcia, a 7th grader from Sky Mountain Charter School, Sarah Brammer, an 8th grader from Royal Oak Middle School, and Vanessa Oropeza, a 9th grader from Bonita High School. Kevin was the name of the main character in which book?
Liar, liar.
Creeper Explosion is up next, made up of Corey Chen, a 7th grader from Goddard, Daniel Ray, a 7th grader from Goddard, and Samuel Wang, a 7th grader from Sandburg. Which book featured a search for a hidden mysterious treasure?
The Thief.
So 42 is made up of Savannah Licardello, a 7th grader, Arlen Henriquez, a 7th grader, and Joshua Lee, a 7th grader. I'm sorry, what schools do you guys go to?
Royal Oak.
Royal Oak? All from Royal Oak Middle School. Which book opened with a young man on a fishing trip?
Silverfin.
Up next, we have In First Place, made up of Kirsten Vanenvetch, a 8th grader from Sandburg, Eloise Tapia, an 8th grader from Sandburg, and Savannah Tapia, a 7th grader from Sandburg. One of the books featured an 8th grader. Which one?
Liar, liar.
Up next is Kuhaku, made up of Nathan Hahn, a 9th grader from Glendora High, Stephanie Hahn, a 7th grader from Stamberg, and Isaac Lee, a 7th grader from Suzanne Middle School. Which book opened with one of its main characters in prison?
The Thief.
Magnum Pi. Marie Christine Garcia, a 12th grader from Bishop Amat, Francine Garcia, a 6th grader from St. Francis of Rome, and Kevin Rotuni, a 10th grader from iPoly. Your question is, bananas and melted chocolate chips were the favorite snack of a character in which book?
Liar, liar.
Up next is the Ninja Puppies. made up of Sean Rowley, a 6th grader from Sandburg.
7th.
Anthony Steinley, a 6th grader from Sandburg. 7th, sorry. And Roy Mawad, all 7th graders from Sandburg. I should have figured since you guys have been here before. Which book told the stories of the old gods?
The Thief.
The No-Brainer Brainiacs, Part 2. Jordan Lavazeri, an 8th grader from St. Louis de Marillac. Jillian Turnan, an 8th grader from Goddard. And Noah Albrecht, also an 8th grader from Goddard. A character attended Eton School in which book?
Silverfin.
Up next is Plot Twist, made up of Colette Bartel, a 10th grader from Bonita High School, Rachel Goodrich, a 10th grader from Cava, and Celia Bartel, an 8th grader who's homeschooled. Here we go. In which book was the main character trying to convince someone he would be the perfect boyfriend?
Liar, liar.
Rise of the Logical Three. We have Matthew Doley, Roden Alam, and Brandon Ung, all 8th grade from Goddard. Jen was the nickname of a character in which book?
The Thief.
And spoiler alert. We have Grace Goodrich, a 12th grader from Cava, Nathan Goodrich, a 9th grader from Cava, and Theodora Green, an 8th grader from Ramona Middle School. In which book did a main character swim with eels on several occasions?
Silverfin.
Up next we have The Elite, which is made up of Marissa Gonzalez, Morgan Salgado, and Sabrina Mendez, all 7th graders from Royal Middle School. Which book took place in the countries of Sunis, Atolia, and Elis?
The Thief.
And we have reached the end of the first round with 18 teams still in the game. Up next, we have all the good names were taken. Who initiated a new Eaton trophy for the lower school?
Hellebore.
It was Lord Randolph Hellebore. And there were several Hellebores in the book, which is why we're making the distinction. Up next is the awesome bookworms. Your question is, who was Kevin's social studies teacher?
Mr. Crosby.
Up next we have Bask in Our Knowledge. What item of clothing did Jen plead with Paul not to burn? His shoes? And the bibliophiles. What was the first and last name of the boy who made James's life difficult during his first term at Eton?
George Hellebore.
The Book Blasters. What was the first name of the person Jen referred to as Useless the Younger?
Sofa.
The Bulldog Bookworms. Kevin was when he fell in love with whom?
Tina Zabinski.
Cover to cover girls. The patron god named Eugenides was the god of
Thieves.
Creeper explosion. Wallace, Sedgepole, and Pruitt were whose friends?
George Hellebore.
"42. What was Paul's position in the army?
Commander.
He was the captain of the guard. Up next, we have in first place. What was the name of Kevin's best friend?
John Paul.
Kuhaku. One of the characters was a scholar and the king's closest advisor. Who was he?
Magus.
Magnum Pi. Magus arranges to release Jen from prison for what purpose?
To steal the gift.
Ninja puppies. How did George Hellebore cheat during the cross-country race?
The people that were watching to see if they could cheat were all his friends, and he cut through.
That was a very complete answer. Up next, we have the No-Brainer Brainiacs Part 2. Who won the cross-country race?
James Bond.
Plot twist. In order to get out of the mess he had created, where did Kevin go to organize his thoughts? We need your answer, ladies.
His bedroom?
Went to the library. Up next, we have Rise of the Logical Three. What was the thief's full first name?
Eugenides.
Spoiler alert. What was the first and last name of the boy with whom James made friends on the train to Scotland?
Red Kelly.
And the elite. What was Mike Moran's nickname?
Chino.
His name was Meat. That brings us to the end of round 2 with 18 teams still in the game. Up next, we have all the good names were taken. According to Kevin, what was the first rule of lies? We need your answer.
A lie makes everyone feel better? No.
Keep it simple. And if everyone can please put their hands together for all the good news. Up next, we have the awesome bookworms. What was the first and last name of the person Kevin thought did extra credit the way most people drink water?
Katie Nolan.
Bask in our knowledge. What was the first and last name of the boy who threatened to throw James off the train?
George Hellborn.
The bibliophiles. When asked if he had ever been in love, John Paul said no, because he thought girls were what?
Jeremy?
The Book Blasters. Ladies, welcome back. The vast expanse of olive trees planted to honor one of the old gods was known as what? We need your answer. Time is up, ladies. Oh, sorry, the Sea of Olives. Up next, we have the Bulldog Bookworms. Who bandaged Jen's wrists after he was released from prison?
Paul.
Cover to cover girls. What were the first names of Kevin's brother and sister?
Sarah and Daniel.
Creeper explosion. What specific type of cancer was Uncle Max fighting?
Lung cancer.
42. What was the first name of the person Jen referred to as Useless the Elder?
And Betas.
And yes. This book has really tricky pronunciations in it, by the way. Up next is In First Place. According to Kevin, who had a voice that made you want to stab pencils in your eardrums?
Katie Knowles.
Katie Knowles. Kuhaku. Where did Jen hide Hermione's gift?
In his vest.
He hid it in his hair. Up next we have Magnum Pie. What kind of issues did Kevin tell Katie would prevent him from living up to his part of the project? We need your answer.
He had an extremely rare, undiscovered disease.
He had medical issues. Ninja puppies. Who owned the castle and lived at Loch Silverfin?
Lord Randolph Helbor.
The No-Brainer Brainiacs Part 2. Sophos and Ambiades were Magus's what?
Apprentices.
Plot twist. What did Kevin call the person who lived in the apartment above the garage and was a daily part of the Spencer family's life?
Auntie Buzz.
Rise of the Logical Three. How did George Hellebore try to stop James during the cross-country race?
By tripping him?
Spoiler alert. Instead of a thief, what did Jen's father want him to become?
A soldier.
The Elite. What was the name of Kevin's 4-year-old next-door neighbor?
Martin.
Say your answer again.
Martin or Martin.
It was Marky. And everyone, if you could please put your hands together for Now at the end of round 3, we have 16 teams in the game. So teams, if the microphone is too tall or too short for you, you can take it with the microphone. That way we can hear you. Up next we have the awesome bookworms. At the first breakfast on the journey, what type of fruit did Jen eat?
Oranges.
Bask in our knowledge. What was described as a poor, plain, gray and white spotted stone?
Hermione's gift.
Hermione's gift. The Bibliophiles. According to Kevin, who were the only people he didn't lie to?
Girls.
Book blasters. What group was headlining at the Blind Rage Concert Festival? We need your answer, ladies.
The Pukin.
I'm sorry, your time is up. It was the bucket of puke and snot. And that means that we're going to have to say goodbye to the book blasters. Up next, we have the Bulldog Bookworms. What did Aunt Charmian say was Uncle Max's favorite thing to do?
Fishing.
Cover to cover girls. What word did Marky use to mean best, most favorite buddy in the world forever?
That's the buddy.
Touch the buddy. Up next we have Creeper Explosion. Kevin told the truth when Marky asked him to define what word?
Divorce.
42. What was described as the gold ring with an engraved ruby? We need your answer.
Midas gift.
It was the king's seal. And everyone, please put your hands together. Up next, in first place. Whose soap was Jen given the first time he bathed after leaving prison?
The Magus.
Kuhaku. Butcher learned to control his breath in order to play what two instruments?
Trumpet and trombone.
The trumpet and the tuba. And everyone, please put your hands together. Up next, we have Magnum Pie. Jen didn't want to become a soldier because he didn't want to do what?
Murder people.
Ninja Puppies, welcome back.
Hello.
Hello. Your question is, what was the first and last name of the girl James and Red met while hiking? I need your answer, guys.
Kelly Horseman.
And a person, yes? Wildly Lawless. No-brainer Brainiacs Part 2. Who was the only person who knew where to find Hermione's gift?
The Magus.
Give us half a second. Sorry about that. Okay, plot twist. Are you ready to go?
Yes.
Here we go. What was the first and last name of the boy who taught James to hold his breath for long periods of time?
Leo Butcher.
Rise of the Logical Three. Who fell into the eel-filled moat after the destruction of the laboratory?
Lord Hellebore and his brother Algar Hellebore.
Randolph and Albert. Spoiler alert. What did the Queen of Atolia want Jen to become?
The Queen's Thief.
And now we have reached the end of round 4. Awesome bookworms. In order to win Lord Hellebor's trophy, what 3 events had to be completed?
Running, swimming, and shooting.
Bask in our knowledge. What did John Paul buy as a souvenir for Kevin at the concert?
A bucket of puke and snot t-shirt.
A bucket of puke and snot t-shirt. I know I want it. They're bibliophiles. What did Earth have Eugenides steal from the sky?
Thunderbolts.
Bulldog bookworms. What activity made James really feel alive?
Running.
Cover to cover girls. Before Jen stole anything, he muttered a perfunctory prayer to whom?
To Eugenides.
Creeper explosion. What phrase did Kevin suggest to substitute for truth or consequences? We need your answer.
I don't know that.
Lies and repercussions. Up next, we have in first place. Who decided to help James when he returned to the castle after escaping?
George Hellebore.
Magnum pie. Edis controlled the only traversable pass between what 2 countries?
Sonus Anatolia.
Ninja puppies. In what sort of accident did James's parents die?
Rock climbing.
No Brainer Brainiacs Part 2. What did Kevin buy for JD, JM, Scott, Grady, Ty, Kurt, and Sean to get back into their good graces?
Monster cookies from the cafeteria.
Plot twist. In what country was Jen first held prisoner?
Sony's.
Rise of the Logical 3. How many days was James sick and asleep?
10 days.
Spoiler alert. In what country was Hermione's gift hidden?
Atolia.
And we have now reached the end of round 5. Awesome bookworms. What was hanging from some barbed wire surrounding Hellebor's property?
Animals and birds.
wrong card. What was the name of the town in Scotland where James was to visit his aunt and uncle?
Keithley.
The bibliophile. What was the name of the companion that was a spy for Atolia?
And the 80s.
Bulldog bookworms. Which of James's school companions claimed to have shot a tiger?
Pritchard.
Cover to cover girls. What was the first and last name of the boy who scored the same as George Hellebore on the shooting portion of the contest? We need your answer, girls.
Carlton Larry.
Andrew Carlton. Reaper explosion. On the second night in the maze, what did Jen use to block open the metal doors?
A rock.
Up next, we have in first place. What were the names of the two people James planned on spending his Easter holidays with?
Uncle Max and Aunt Charmian.
Magnum pie. What was the name of the boy that Red Kelly was going to Scotland to search for?
Alfie Kelly.
Ninja puppies. James's first new messmate at Eton was from what country?
India.
No Brainer Brainiacs Part 2. What gem was discovered in the stone that was Hermione's gift?
A sapphire.
Plot twist. What was the name of James's classical tutor?
Mr. Marriott.
Rise of the Logical Three. Andrew Carlton was known as a wet bob, or a member of what team?
The rowing team.
Spoiler alert. If the Magus' calculations were correct, the water would stop in the river for how many nights?
3.
Would stop for 4 nights. At the end of round 6, we have 13 teams still in the game. We have 5 out. 13 teams. 13 teams. We have 13 teams in the game. Here we go. Awesome footwork. How old was James when his parents were killed?
He was 10 years old.
He was 11 years old. Up next, we have Baskin many soldiers did Jen kill?
1.
The bibliophile. Who picked up George Hellebore at the train station?
Randolph Hellebore.
The chauffeur. Bulldog bookworm. In addition to fly fishing, what did Uncle Match teach James how to do?
Driving.
How to drive. Cover to cover girls. Even though Uncle Max wasn't up to it, where did Aunt Charmian take James on his first night in Keithley?
The circus.
Creeper explosion. What did Uncle Max say he was during the war?
A spy.
In first place. What was the first and last name of Tina's best friend, a girl Kevin describes as a troll? He's so nice, isn't he? We need your answer, ladies.
Connie, and I can't remember her last name.
Well, you're right, it is Connie, but her name is Connie Shaw. Up next, we have Magnum Pie. What type of beasts did Lord Hellebore keep in cages and use in his experiments?
Pigs.
The Ninja Puppy. What was the name of the horse that helped Wilder save James from the bog? We need your answer.
Wilder's horse.
The horse's name was Martini, and we're going to have to put our hands together for him. Up next, we have the No-Brainer Brainiacs Part 2. How did James and Red sneak into the Hellebore compound?
In the back of a truck, which they called a lorry.
Plot twist. How old was Jen when his mother died?
10.
Lives of the Logical Three. What was the first book Mom read to the Spencer family, just like she did when the children were young?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Spoiler alert. What were the names of Earth and Sky's youngest children? We need your answer, guys.
Rivers.
Yes, they were rivers, but specifically it was the Saperkia and the Scander. And everyone, please put your hands together. We have now reached the end of round 7 with 11 teams still in the game. awesome bookworms. Your question is, the motto for the Pinkerton Detective Agency was what?
We never sleep.
Bask in our knowledge. What was the name of the goddess in Jen's dreams?
Horia?
Say it again.
It's like H-O-R, Horisha?
It was Moira. Bibliophiles. What 3 languages did James speak?
English, French, and German.
Bulldog bookworms. What was the name of the art teacher who spoke with lots of exclamation points?
Mrs. Steck.
Cover to cover girls. Who was the oldest and most famous of the men who looked after the boats for the school?
Croker.
Creeper explosion. Hermione's gift had the power to give what to someone?
Immortality.
In first place. What was hidden in the secret compartment of James's boot?
A knife.
Magnum pie. Before going fishing, who tightly tied up Jen's wrists?
Omniadris? Just, I don't know how to say that.
Useless the elder.
Useless the elder. Yes. No Brainer Brainiacs Part 2. What was in the lorry that James and Kelly hid in to sneak into the Hellebore compound?
Turnips or neeps?
Plot twist. After being attacked, who discovered he had lost Hermione's gift?
Magus.
Rise of the Logical Three. James won a prize at the Circus Shooting Gallery and chose something for Uncle Max. What did he choose?
A plaster toy soldier.
We have now reached the end of round 8 with 11 teams still in the game. Up next, we have the awesome bookworms. Sarah used Kevin as practice for what painful experience during the summer?
Waxing eyebrows.
Bask in our knowledge. Paul was sent went on the journey in order to protect whom?
Sophos.
The bibliophiles. What was the name of the river where Hermione's gift was hidden?
Araxis.
Bulldog bookworms. How many days detention did Kevin's teachers each assess following his lies?
3 days.
Cover to cover girls. On his way to visit his aunt and uncle, James waited for his train to Scotland in a cafe at what train station? We need your answer, girls. That's time. Answer is King's Cross, and that means we need to say goodbye. Up next, we have Creeper Explosion. What were the two main exports for the country of Edis?
Lumber and silver.
In first place. What was the first and last name of the person who won the swimming portion of Lord Hellebor's contest? We need your answer, ladies.
Andrew Carlton.
Fortunately, that was Lawrence Forster, and we're going to need to put our hands together. Up next, we have Magnum Pie. How long did it take Kevin to balance Auntie Buzz's checkbook?
An hour?
Up next, we have the no-brainer brain X part 2. The comb used by Jen that belonged to Ambiotes was made of what material?
Tortoise shell.
What was the name of the great goddess that held Hermione's gift in the maze?
Hephaestia.
Rise of the Logical Three. What smelled like a lion's breath that stunk of meat and of something else?
The breath of Randolph Hellmore.
We have now reached the end of round 9 with 9 teams still in the game. Up next, we have the awesome bookworms. What type of door did Jen break in the maze with a pry bar?
A steel door.
Was an obsidian door. And please put your hands together. Up next, we have Bask in Our Knowledge. Who was Mike Moran looking for?
Randolph Hellborn.
brother, Algar. So everyone, please put your hands together. The bibliophiles. In Jen's dream, the woman in white told him he would find what he seeks if he enters the maze how many times?
Three times.
The bulldog bookworms. What was the cost of a ticket for the Blind Rage Festival at the Kane County Fairgrounds?
$250.
Creeper explosion. What does silverfin mean in Gaelic?
Big fish.
Giant. And that means we need to say goodbye. Magnum pie. Mondays were always Auntie Buzz's favorite time to do what? We need your answer, please.
Nap.
I like to nap on Monday. The answer was handle a problem. And you want to put our hands together. No, we don't.
The judges made a correction, so this is their first visit.
Never mind. That's their first out. So Magnum Pie is still in the game. During their journey, what was the name of the first city in which they spent the night?
Ibiza.
Hellebore forced James and Butcher into an underwater race. Where did the race take place?
The Thames River.
Specifically at Ward's Mead. And that means we need to say goodbye to Sean. Up next, we have Rise of the Logical Three. Kevin wrote a paper for Mr. Crosby that dealt with what ironic topic?
Government relevant to today's young citizen.
Dishonesty in politics. So now we have reached the end of round 10 with 5 teams in the game. So we have
Is that the Brainiacs that just finished?
the Brainiacs just.
Okay, so this is the new one. Sorry, carry on.
I believe there's one that comes first. The bibliophiles should be coming up next.
Sorry.
Out of the 8 school periods in each day, how many classes did Kevin share with Tina?
Two.
And that Ladies. What was the name of the Spanish lab teacher?
Mrs. Lucia.
Magnum pie. Who did Meatpacker Moran work for?
Pinkerton Detectives Agency.
No-brainer Brainiacs Part 2. As a result of reading a lot, Kevin's family all had great what?
Vocabularies.
Rise of the logical three. When James and Wilder fought to the ground, what did Wilder stuff in James's mouth?
Dead leaves.
We have now reached the end of round 11 with 4 teams still in the game. Bulldog bookworms. Who initially rescued Alfie Kelly from the eels?
Algar.
Magnum pie. According to Kevin, middle school is a yawning chasm of what? We need your answer.
Learning.
Unfortunately, it's a yawning chasm of nothingness. And
Hands together for Magnum Pie.
No-brainer Brainiacs Part 2. How did Algar become a deformed, freakish, abnormal monstrosity?
He tested his experiments on himself because they couldn't find any living specimens.
Rise of the logical three. Gentlemen, welcome back. Your question is, what was the name of the math teacher who was always talking about what a privilege it is for one citizen to serve another?
Mr. Myers.
At the end of round 12, we now have 3 teams left in the game. Up first, we have Bulldog bookworms. What tool did James use to escape from his cell?
The folding knife.
Of the 12 abstracts Kenny developed for the project, what was the number of the one Kevin decided to work on?
7.
Rise of the logical three. Which of the lessons James learned from Uncle Max helped him escape from the Hellebore compound? We need your answer.
Landing downwards when he jumps.
We now have 2 teams left at the end of round 14. One of our teams, the Bulldog Bookworms, has yet to miss a question. Here we go. Kevin knew that Tina was on what athletic team in school?
Swimming.
No-brainer brainiacs part 2. After they reached the castle, what was the first thing James and George did?
They destroyed the laboratory.
So that was the end of round 14. Beginning of round 15. Here we go. Oh, yes, it does to me. What color did Kevin rack his brain to find to describe Tina's hair?
Blonde.
She's blonde. No-brainer brainiac. At lunch, Uncle Max told James that Alfie Kelly was a what?
Fisherman.
Round 16. What did Marky get as part of his parents' divorce?
He got the house.
No-brainer brainiac. What did George Hellebore search for in his father's desk?
His mom's address.
Round 17. We've got about 80 more questions that they can go through. What was the name of the wine
Shade
shop?
Up Wine Shop.
No-brainer brainiac. What was the first and last name of Lord Hellebore's chief scientist?
Dr. Perseus Friend.
Round 18, Bulldog Bookworms. What marked the halfway point in the cross-country race?
The hill.
No-brainer brainiac. Megan's plan to give the stone to Sunis and then become what?
The King's Thief.
Round 19. Both teams have now been charged with one missed question. We will complete each of the rounds until one team gets the answer right and the other team gets one wrong, so that they have answered the same number of questions. Here we go. Bulldog Bookworms. When Kevin realized how detached his father had become, he compared it to the same pain he felt when he did what?
When he bit down on a wad of tinfoil.
No-brainer brainiacs, part 2. What was the gift that Earth gave to all men and her son in full measure?
Cleverness.
have reached the end of our competition. We will be crowning our second place winners, which is the No Brainer Brainiacs Part 2.